Welcome to episode 5 of Night Bass Energy. I'm AC Slater alongside Sinden. On this episode, we have London-bred DJ and producer Flava D. She's a member of the legendary Butterz crew, which is a seminal grime label based out of London. She's also 1/3 of the UK garage supergroup TQD. And on top of that, she's recently signed to Hospital Records with her newly found talent for producing fire drum and bass music. Sinden and I got to take a trip back to Flava D's roots in the early grime scene, producing instrumentals for legendary MCs such as Wiley and DEE, and we followed her journey all the way through an extremely unique and exciting career at the forefront of UK bass music. Please enjoy Night Bass Energy featuring one of my favorite DJs, Flava D.
Night Bass! Locked in.
Welcome to the pod, Night Bass Energy. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Feels good to be here.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
What are you drinking?
Cheers to the White Claw.
We got you a White Claw.
Yeah, we got the mango White Claw.
How is it?
You know what? It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It might be
Refreshing.
like my third in the favorites line right now.
What's your first?
Grapefruit. Yeah, grapefruit, cherry, and then mango.
White
White
Claw's
Claw again.
is a game changer, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Changer.
I saw on your Instagram the White Claw pics.
Oh, yeah. Susie threw a White Claw to me during a set, and this guy Martine that was like filming planned it all out, like have her throw it at this point, and
picture perfect.
it was pretty funny.
Promo standard.
Yeah.
Mad. So, where have you been traveling from tonight? Do you come from home? You live out here now?
Yeah, I do. I live half and half. So it's kind of where I'm currently touring. I am, but I have my partner who lives here in LA.
Cool.
And then I have my place in London. So I'm always back and forth, but I'm where the work is.
Yeah, I mean, you straddle the UK and the US. You're kind of like, you're popping off in both countries. I mean, It's not an I mean, that's that's very cool. I mean, not a lot of DJs can really do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still working on building my fan base over here, but I'm grateful that I can kind of come here and earn some money and have fun and do shows, connect with a new audience like I can back home. So yeah, and I absolutely love LA, America as a whole. So if I can be here more, I would.
I think you're one of the few.
You know.
I know. I mean, I didn't go back.
Yeah, you didn't leave. I think Flava, you're one of the few, kind of sort of baseline garage DJs from the UK that really gets a lot of action over here with gigs.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to break into, but you've been working at it for years, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I've been going hard on the grind since 2013, 14.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did my first American date back in 2014, and it was with Viv.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Big up, Viv.
Yeah, it was with Butterz. So all the boys like Royalty, Elijah Skilliam. I wasn't even on the bill. They were just like, look, we'll pay for your flight. Come over. Just do a little warm up set unannounced. Just to kind of play over in the States and get a feel for it. Yeah, in New York. Slake, I think it was.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that's where it began, really.
We did a couple parties with Butterz, but I don't know if I remember you being at. I have photos of us with Elijah. And
Yeah, there
Skilliam
was another one. It was a separate show from the Butterz tour. So I was only there for New York. I didn't come to the LA shows and just the New York special.
Hell yeah. Butterz was kind of the first. Was that your first label, or how did you?
Yeah, it was. So I was pretty much unsigned, still a bedroom producer up until 2012. And then I did an EP called Hold On Home. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it. It was very UKG, sort of two-step, just very UK modern garage, I guess. And DJ EZ was playing it on radio, and then Elijah and Skilliam, who own Butterz, they were listening to his set on the car, and EZ was like, "Oh, brand new Flava D, Hold On Home," and they thought Flava D, this grime producer, this can't be the same producer. This is garage, completely different. And then I got an email that week from Elijah saying, is this track signed? And then I was like, no, take it. And that was my first experience with dealing with like getting my music out there on a professional level, with like packaged with artwork and a promo campaign. It was completely new to me. So that was like a huge turning point for me.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
See, I don't know much
life.
about you before the Butterz thing. So like, just to kind of fill us in, like, what were you doing? Like, you saying you were making beats in the bedroom. What kind of stuff were you were kind of messing with grime kind of stuff?
It was everything. But I definitely got my first name for myself through grime, I think. I started making hip hop in 2007. If you're familiar with like old school UK hip hop, Black the Ripper, me and him, we did a lot of work. And then I gradually went on to grime, and this was MySpace days. Do you remember MySpace?
Yeah, we love the MySpace.
That
definitely comes up all the time.
Gotta love MySpace. Oh my God. Well, yes. that was pretty much how I promoted myself. And then, Logan Sama, who was grime's biggest DJ back then, like when you were producing, it was your biggest aim to get your track played on Kiss Radio. Yeah. And he had that 1 hour slot of the week, the only grime show that was kind of really popping in.
That was really big. That was really big because I was on Kiss at the time, and we had the same producer, and he was responsible for bringing Logan on to the station. Yeah, as well as a couple of other guys, but really like pushing new music, exciting, like urban, UK music.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I was just heavily involved in for about 4 years. And but in between that, I was never just making grime. I was making everything, but a lot of stuff just never got to see the light of day because I didn't really know how to get my stuff out there. I didn't have like a manager. It was just literally me, my PC, my bedroom.
Yeah. How did you get the track to EZ in the first place?
Oh God,
that's so exciting.
So many emails, and it took a while until I didn't get no email back like, oh, I love this, gonna drop it. I just heard it on the radio. And then it was my friend, my best friend in England, Kirsty. She heard it one night, and she was just like, oh my God, like, is this your track? I swear Isa just played it. And I was like, no way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I went on Google, got the track list, and it was like Flava D. And I was like, oh my God.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
It was back then it was like MySpace was such a big kind of way to get your tracks out.
That was kind of like the Instagram of today.
Totally.
And Twitter combined, kind of crazy.
Yeah, and they had the music player on your profile.
Yeah. All your plays were there, and you could pick all your friends, like, you had the little box of your top friends. And your number one, your number two. Favoritism.
I got some big breaks through MySpace as well.
Same, man.
Yeah.
Same, yeah.
I think all of us that were around back then, that was like the main way, really.
Yeah.
And artists were very like proactive on there as well. They would respond to you. I feel like people were really open.
Well, that's how I met Wiley. Through a MySpace DM. We'll say that for later on.
Wait, how'd you meet Wiley?
Well, so during the grime days when I was trying to get my stuff out to the grime MCs, because I had all these instrumentals but no vocals, and when you're like virtually unknown, you're just a MySpace profile to someone. And so I got like a couple, I think Fumin, who was part of More Fire Crew.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, do you remember him? He was like a legendary guy back in the day.
He's awesome,
yeah. So he was the first guy that ever in the grime world vocaled my track. And you know how it goes, it spreads like wildfire, like who made it? Oh, so-and-so. And then I would get a few messages like, can you send me some stuff? And so about 6 months later, I was kind of getting a few plays on the radio. So I think I was like, I'm going to message Wiley. I didn't think he would ever get back. And I messaged him twice. And one day he actually got back, and it just said an email, send me beats. And then, so I sent him some stuff on email, and then I just got an email back with a mobile number, ring me. So could you imagine? I'm like...
It's like you pass each step. You're like...
I know,
right,
it's
next,
like I've qualified.
Which Wiley, which era of Wiley?
This would have been
was this
early
like
2007.
Oh,
so this
so
is
like white label, like roll deep,
Wiley, like still huge.
That's so
yeah, like Eskimo, like Creeper.
Yeah. Where's my brother? All that.
You were gassed.
Can you imagine, like little old me? I'm still living at home with my mum and barely got internet. I'm using this like dongle thing. Do you remember that? It wasn't even dial up. Oh my god, I didn't even have a phone. And so I'm like, Mum, I got this email. Can I borrow your phone? It's I got to ring Wiley. My mum's just like doesn't really know who he is, but she knows that song. What's that big tune he had? Wearing My Rolex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she was like, Wiley. I was like, yeah. And then I rang him, and then he's like, so this is what we're gonna do, yeah. I'm gonna come pick you up and all this stuff. And then it just went from there, and then more beats back and forth. And so yeah, that's how I met Wiley.
That's mad.
That's so cool.
I did not know that.
I know that he's a funny old guy. He's unpredictable.
Yeah, for sure. And then you transitioned into the Butterz era. That was really they put you on.
So that was before Butterz.
Yeah, so Butterz started from 2013. So all my grind days were like 2007.
Oh,
up to.
I didn't know you were doing
I didn't know
stuff
that
for
either.
so long.
Oh man, I was in the top 3 grind producers for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like the grind producers had so much like visibility back then.
No.
People didn't really know who was making the beats as much as they do now.
That's something that used to really get to me because back then I used to say, whoever took the beat, can you just shout out my name in the beginning, like Flava D Productions, whatever you want to do. And like sometimes I'll say, yeah, but it didn't. And then like you don't always get the producer shout out on the radio. Like you don't hear that, do you? And so it used to get really like frustrating for me, especially being a female producer. Like I wanted people to know that, hey, like I'm like I've got a voice here. Just there's no other girl in the scene doing this or nothing, and I kind of wanted people to respect that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so I don't know if you noticed, but in a lot of my tracks, there's this like little noise that comes in at the beginning. It's like a little swoosh effects. If you heard it, you'd probably recognize it. But so my way of trying to get myself recognized more was always use this little signature sound in every beat. And
kind of like the Lex Luger.
Yeah. Or like, Rude Kid, like, oh, you ready? Before the drop. Everyone has their little things. So I still use that to this day.
That's cool.
No matter if it's drum and bass, garage, whatever, that sounds still there.
Easter egg for the
It's kind of like...
It comes from wanting to be known for your work.
You don't know my name. You're not going to say it, but some people will recognize that.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's...
Do you think you didn't get credit because, like, I assume you weren't, like, hanging with them all the time and stuff like that? Like, because some of the producers, like, are around them all the time.
Yeah,
like a Silencer or someone like that is
Yeah.
always kind of in the mix, like, everywhere. But if you're just sending beats, they're kind
There's
of
like a disconnection there.
You're not a real person. You're just like this account that sends beats or whatever.
Yeah, I think maybe at the beginning, but it definitely wasn't just exclusive to me because when, say for example, Logan Sama, he, it would be like, oh, new track from Frisco, that you didn't, unless it was like, the top 3 like Rude Kid or Silencer back then. Yeah, no one really got a mention, but after a while, when I start getting more established, I would get that mention. But it's funny, even when I did get the mention, people didn't realize Flava D was a female.
Right.
So for years, I still get it now. Like, oh my god, Flava D's a girl. She's a white girl, blonde hair. They just didn't picture it.
They'd probably kill for a beat now.
Right.
Oh, man,
I guess they probably
it's
did back then anyway.
It's funny that disconnect where people don't know what the artist looks like.
Yeah, the amount of times I've had, I thought you were a big black man. And I'm like, thanks. But yeah, this is me.
When you got with Butterz, they were like, they only knew you from like the EZ, going back to that EZ thing. So I'm trying to piece it all together.
I know I've got quite a interesting like journey. They knew me from the grime, but it's more when they heard me on the radio,
Doing
just randomly like listening to the EZ show, and then EZ mentioned me, brand new Flava D, and it's when they heard a completely different sound, which was my garage. That's when they were like, oh, like this girl's more than what meets the eye. Like she's not just a grime producer. she's clearly is capable of doing all kinds of sounds. And I think that's when they wanted to reach out, because they were fascinated by that.
And then like just with the Butterz crew, like what was the connection? Because obviously you guys now are like super close.
Yeah, we're like family.
Was that like an instant thing? Like
it kind of was. I mean, the first night I ever met them physically was... God, are you ready for another crazy story?
Please tell us.
Oh, yeah.
So it was about a couple months after Elijah first got in touch, and we wrapped up the track Hold On Home, which was my first official EP. Boiler Room got in touch because they were doing a Butterz night, and the Boiler Room wanted me to be involved, but I wasn't DJing then. Like, I didn't really know how to DJ.
Wow.
So
that's cool. You're just a producer.
Yeah, just a producer. I've dabbled with like decks in the past, but not enough to be like, okay, I'm ready for a gig.
Was that like a consideration at that point, or was it just like, I'm just making it, just like, I just want to make beats?
Do you know what? I was just so broke them times. I just didn't have the money to get decks. Like I wanted to. They are. And I did eventually buy some... this is the help of Wiley, actually. When he bought a bunch of beats, I ended up buying some cheap, like, new marks, you know, the CDJ ones.
Yeah.
They were really crap. Like, you know, when you get that beat match and then it merges out constantly, like, it just doesn't hold it. But, yeah, so... God, I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, okay, Butterz. So my first official gig was at a Boiler Room when I didn't really know how to DJ. And that same night, I met all the boys. And then when I met them, it was just like, I don't know, like they kind of took me under their wing. It was like bigger, older brothers. And I always mark Royalty saying that night, you know, with us, you know, you got nothing to worry about with the boys. They'll look after you.
That's cool.
And I always remember that outside when he was smoking a fag. And I was like, because, you know, like being a female, you got to be skeptical and people's intentions. But honestly, they're the best bunch of guys I've ever met.
From the get-go, they wanted to like...
Yeah. Nothing but good intentions.
We got your back, you know, you just roll with us, like, everything will be cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's one big family.
Nice.
So
it's really Elijah, grateful. Skilliam, Royalty, and anyone else?
Me, kind of like Champions part of the crew.
Yeah.
Swindle. Can't forget Swindle.
Of course, yeah.
They're the originals,
Big
you know, them four, and then me.
Legendary crew for all the Americans or whoever that doesn't know.
Go check out Butterz for sure.
Butterz with a Z.
Such a tastemaker collective, really. Everything that came out of that stable was sick. Like, and I'm not surprised that they were checking, you know, EZ's show so attentively, like looking out for those kind of like little, you know,
someone that's got
nuggets
their, like,
in the show, you know. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think they're like Elijah's such a historian of like grime music and
sure.
Him and Skillian, they've done a lot.
I saw him post. I haven't checked it out yet, but they gathered a bunch of like, I guess radio shows or interviews over the years.
Oh, on that big link.
The best of.
All that,
and I'm like, I'm dying to check that out.
You should. They did a Valentine's mix. And it's all like classic grime, like, you know, like the golden era. It's really good for a car journey.
I like the end of year wrap ups as well that they would do.
God, I forget. There's so many things, like little projects that you forget. You're like, oh my God, different parties, this and that.
Yeah, you're always involved in so many different things. How did TQD come about? Obviously,
so TQD
was huge.
Do you know, it's scary how quick time flies by, like the years. But I think it was end of 2015. It wasn't long after like Soul Shake. And so Mark and Q had we had like a Butterz, kind of like this. It's like a room where there was like tables, decks, and then a PC and stuff to make beats. And Q and Mark, so DJ Q Royalty, they were working on a track. And later that day, I met up with them. Elijah was like, just come down and say hello. And I walked in and they were working on what was Day and Night, which is, if you're familiar. And I was like, what's this? It sounds wicked. And I was like, can I jump on? And it was like really spontaneous. Like that track was 80% done anyway. So, and I kind of felt like it wasn't, like a collab where everyone contributed as much as I would want to. So they gave me the stems for that. And on the same release, there was a night mix of day and night. So that was all me with their stems. And then, so we released that. And then that's when we started getting offers for like promoters, like, would they want to do a back-to-back? And we were like, yeah, go on then. Why not? We're all mates, we'll have a laugh. And we didn't like have this huge idea of creating this big brand. It just happened so like naturally. And then it went from there. We started making more music, more shows. Then we're like logo and all that stuff. And it just exploded for about 3 years.
Yeah, wow. It looks really organic in all the, all the press. And
it was.
Just friends hanging out,
It literally was that. It was, I think like one summer we did a crazy, like over 50 shows. And that's aside from our solo stuff.
Mad.
And
I could feel the buzz about like the projects just in general.
Yeah. No, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys were everywhere. I caught one of the shows in London.
Which one was that? Was it Fabric?
I don't think it was Fabric, but it was like we were eating Skilliam's pizza.
Oh, XOYO.
Yeah, XOYO.
Oh my God, yeah, that was the album launch night, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
And we also had you here in LA.
Oh my God.
The night based show was insane.
On the wall here. We had our flyers on the wall. November 10th, 2016. That was my birthday.
Wow.
The day after my birthday.
2016. That's what I mean. That's 4 years ago.
That feels like a year ago.
That is scary.
Almost 4 years ago. That's
my God.
That was such a legendary night.
There are some great photos from that.
There's some great photos from that.
There's a photo of us like
drinking.
All of us, a lot of drinking. All the three of us plus like the rest of TQD and like Petey, and we're all like in a huddle before you guys played. And we're like, it's like a little pep talk and we're getting hyped. Yeah, it was like really fun.
Oh my God.
You take the left deck, you take the right deck, cross finger.
I know. I'll pour you a drink, pour you a mix.
We're just strategizing from the sidelines.
Can you tell us about the reload situation? What happened?
I'm trying to remember who actually started that. I think because we had our like little WhatsApp group, and then after most shows we have our, Elijah's like, so how did you feel that went? What can you prove? And we were like, well, I think it was spontaneous. Like one day, because Q he loves a reload. And
he loves a drink.
He loves a drink and a reload. And I was like, right, if you keep doing that, I'm going to make you do a shot. He's like, all right then, all right, bring it on. And then,
it's a pretty good impression.
Yeah, and it turned out as a joke and into a thing. And like a couple shows, like the crowd were kind of loving it. Just because like it's banter for a minute.
Like a part of the party.
You break it up, and it's like, all right, we're having fun too. And oh God, it's the worst rule I ever made up because it made me despise vodka. Like, ugh.
Who chose vodka?
Wow, that was
vodka?
our rider. And I mean, I couldn't really stand there and shot other stuff. For me, it's Jack or vodka. I'm not like a Zambuca girl, none of that.
Yeah.
Oof.
And
that's tough.
I think like Mark.
That's very garage.
It is very garage, but Mark, bless him, he used to hate when those moments happen because you know what, Q, he's a little sod. He would sometimes reload the track just to be like, all right,
just
shot time.
Fuck with you.
And I'm like, no. And then the crowd are like, shot. And I'm just like, fuck you. Piece of shit.
I'm trying to find this video from Friendship because you were on Friendship with me. And when you did that big back-to-back with like...
there was a couple back-to-backs.
Nina Las Vegas. It was all the girls.
Yeah. The D&B.
Vivian.
The D&B
yeah,
one?
Miha.
Yep.
Who else was on there? Madam X.
Yep, Chrissy. Madam X.
Sorry, whoever I'm forgetting. But I'm trying to find a video. There's a video I took from like next to you guys. And like...
You have to send me this.
There's a reload. And then Chrissy, Madam X... I think she reloads it, and then you're like, "You have to take a shot real loud."
You know
and she goes,
what?
"Me?"
She's fully on this health
like,
wave as well. She's like sobriety, everything. I'm like, which I really admire, by the way. But I definitely have like this TKD mentality that's like wired into my DNA now. And I'm like, no, it's not TKD. Just quit it. But I'm pretty sure like I made someone else do it, and I'm like, what are you doing? Oh God!
Just bringing them into your world.
I know. I'm like, it ain't that party no more. But, yeah.
So was Tiki Do just like is that continuing, or is that just something that you just pick up when you feel like
it's well, because we toured so extensively for so long, and we visited a lot of places, and we did a lot of great things to the point where we're like, we don't want to do too much and just be overkill.
Just saturated too hard. Yeah.
And we were just in a good space, and we both had our individual projects. Like I'm working on an album, I'm doing my D&B, Mark's doing his stuff, Q's doing his. And so we're just kind of like having a year break and just seeing what happens. But yeah, I think you just don't want to do too much of the same stuff, going back to the same cities constantly. So we just want to come back maybe with some like new material.
Yeah, and you've always kept it interesting, like looking at your journey in music and the styles that you've transitioned in and out of. Like,
thank you.
Drum and bass is just another chapter of, I guess, a
new
another strand of what you bring. And I think it's cool to hear. Like, it's great to hear all these like progressions. You know?
The D&B. I mean, I'm still learning that right now, and it's really challenging. Like, you think you're a great producer until you try a D&B. Even like the mix sounds.
I've dabbled, and it's hard.
Yeah,
it's
the
hard.
level of the level of quality and production and drum and bass is like top notch.
The
There's
sound design
higher.
and the bass lines. It's not like you're just gonna go pick a donk off Splice or something. You're actually modulating your shit, and then the mix sounds is like, because you can think you've made a great idea, and then you play it next to some other D&B tracks, and you're just like, oh. It doesn't have that weight.
You're
I'm
up next to like some of the best engineers in the world and drum and bass producers,
I know, exactly. So it's intimidating.
It makes you just want to step your whole game up.
Yeah,
right?
good exercise.
It's a challenge.
I'm before I even made my first release in D&B, I spent like a whole year just trying to like study how to get my sound how I want it to, so it will stand up next to other stuff. So fully reset. It's been like homework.
Yeah.
I mean, but I feel like a real a real sort of testament to you as a producer is to get a track on Hospital or tracks on Hospital, which is like, that's the pedigree of a drum and bass label.
Yeah.
So I mean, already there you have like, a massive cosign, so that's cool in itself,
Yeah, I'm
you've
quite
done multiple
about
Hospital releases.
Yeah, so I did my third, but the Mesmerize, which dropped on Valentine's Day, so a couple of weeks back, was it? That was my first official like standalone single, and when they announced that I'm signed with them, so that was a cool moment. I just kind of had to pinch myself, like, even though we've been in talks for like 2 years, but yeah, it's like huge for me.
And one of the coolest labels, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Hospital.
Yeah, they're almost like they're so prestige, and but there's the way they do everything is amazing. Like, and they're really passionate about every artist they bring on board. It's not just like we want this, want that. They really are into the music as well, not just like the business side. And so they're a really good bunch of people.
Yeah, shout out to those guys.
Yeah, shout out Hospital.
Is that something you're gonna continue to pursue? Is like building that? Obviously, you're signed to Hospital, so yes, but
yeah,
is it going to be a major focus?
I'm working on. Do you know what? I'm always going to be doing a bit of everything. Something that I've noticed is my fan base. Like most sets, I get a DM like, "Is it a drum and bass set or is it this?" And the fascination and the interest in the D&B side. Like, I'm like my past shows out here in America I've had, they're typing on the phone like D&B in capitals, and I'm like, it's like a house and bass set or whatever. But yeah, I'm working on a lot of material, drum and bass and garage and pretty much everything Flava D for.
And it's all under the one banner, which I really like. The fact
I was
that you
wondering,
didn't separate it.
Yeah, I was in that position where I was like, should I create an alias? Because I didn't want to confuse my fan base, but I think it's good to just keep it all under one. And like, I'm not the kind of producer that's in a box anyway, so.
You should do something called Flava D&B.
Oh, that's what I used to joke about, and like like in the early days, like it's a Flava D&B set.
Yeah.
Or you know, in the flyer, like
That's
the little
cool.
slogan.
That way it's like separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done a lot of specifically D&B sets so far?
I have actually. Yeah. I think I've done just like about maybe 10 official.
Have you
D&B
done any
sets.
in the States?
Not yet. No.
So I'd be curious to see your opinion of like, because it's so different here. Like the drum and bass scene is like always kind of struggled to stand out amongst other things. It's had its moments, but I'd love to see you compare it to like the UK.
You know what? I've been doing this thing like, so I'm currently on tour now, and I played like a few shows a week ago. And so because obviously I do have my D&B content, I've been ending my set on drum and bass, even if it's just like 15 minutes. But like, I don't know if it's because of the people that are there to see me and they know, but it's been going off. But a whole set of it, I don't know yet. Because people's D&B here, it's kind of like very EDM-y type of drum and bass. And it's very different to the drum and bass that's popping in England. It's weird. And I know Hospital have their reasons why they haven't done a lot of work out here, because they're waiting for people to appreciate the real UK sound, I think.
It really goes up and down here. I'm not like a total expert, but I love drum and bass, but it's, the scene over the years has always kind of, all right, this is the year. And then it's like, nah. But like the people that support it are super passionate. So I think it would be interesting, you playing a few songs in your regular set, a few drum and bass songs in your regular set would be a different reaction than showing up to a bunch of drum and bass purists.
Exactly.
It would be interesting to see.
Yeah. One day.
One day. Yeah, one day.
Because there is a little scene here. I know you get a lot of people like some of the, like Goldie, and there's like a big night with like Break.
Respect,
yeah. So there's a little scene
here. They just
here.
had what anniversary was it like?
Yeah, John was talking about that.
Shit.
Someone
like 20
invited
years
me.
or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me Google that. But yeah.
Fact check.
Yeah, they've been doing it forever, man.
Yeah. LA has definitely a long time scene for D&B. I have to say I'm not like up on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But just from where I'm standing, like there's definitely more drum and bass in like house sets generally.
It's
I feel like
becoming a bit of like a trend, isn't
Loz
it?
is dropping more. Like,
well, I mean, he's got that track with Mike Skinner.
That's right, yeah.
So when you have that one track, whether it's one or a few, you kind of have that reason to just drop your material.
Right.
And, it kind of really electrifies the crowd when you end on such a high like that. Because some people don't expect it, and you just like bam, like 176 BPM.
Yeah, it's like
eat your heart out.
How to fuck up the next DJ.
Yeah, person standing next to you with the headphones, like great, thanks, mate.
Yeah,
Take it back down to like 128.
Yeah, right. What do you got? How you gonna win this back?
Beat this.
That's the thing in the UK. Like, I played some shows there. Like, I play there like a couple times a year, and that's the thing with the baseline parties.
Yeah.
Every single fucking DJ ends with drum and bass, and the guy after them gets mad. And it's like,
I know.
Deal with it. You guys have created this.
And it's usually like the same selection. You got the D&B classics as well. And just you can't go wrong with that. But in the bassline scene, it's definitely rife with the D&B endings. I played a show about a year ago, and can't remember where it was in England, but the DJ before me, he pulled me to the side. This is in the green room before I went on. He's like, "Can you not end on the drums?" And I was like, "What do you mean?"
What do you mean? What
he
you
was
mean?
so shook, and I was like, "Look, mate, I'm gonna do me. You do you." Like,
yeah,
you got to be prepared for anything.
Yeah,
so.
That's not a conversation that really should be
you
going
can't
down.
really tell a headliner how to adjust. But
right.
And if you're like a support DJ, you should be prepared for that.
Yeah, I've been in that situation though, and it is kind of like you panic and you think, because you don't want to be that DJ no one remembers and goes home and just like fades into the background. And I guess, but yeah, it's part of the journey, isn't it?
You gotta if you gotta follow a headliner, then you should be prepared with something.
Yeah.
To open, maybe a couple different choices. and something that just washes it out. Because for me, you know, when I'm playing like a festival, I'll play after some, you know, someone will end with drum and bass or end with like the biggest anthem that maybe they made or someone else made. And I'm like, shit. And then it's like, I'll have something ready that just, it's so different. Like an intro maybe. You don't have to mix
like refresh the palette.
Yeah, just start over. And I think that works.
I think like most sets should be like that anyway, because that's your 6 hour or 90 minutes to get the crowd like who you are. Yeah. You shouldn't always like conform to what the DJ before was playing.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
It took me a while to get that in. I think it's something Elijah always told me about. He's just said like, doesn't matter. This is you. You're expressing yourself, and some people will like it, some people won't. But that's, you know, you want the purest fan base that you can have. So
exactly. I used to show up and see the club or see the crowd and be like, I think they want this, and like try to adjust to it. And then I realized over time that it's better if you just do you, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, because the people that actually came to see you are the ones that matter. Like, they're going to be angry if they show up expecting one thing. Not that you have to pander to them, but if they're a fan of your style and you play some other style to please some strangers who might not even know who you are. You know what I mean? Like, but if you do you and those strangers are like, a couple of them are like, this is sick, then you meet new fans, you know?
Yeah, that's like a fan for life.
And then your fans go away happy. And I think it's important to do you know?
Fully. Like, I'm not against, like, obviously you adjust here and there, but I mean, there's definitely been like some shows that I've had, say, out of England where it kind of tests you. And, you know, every DJ, you get a bad show once in a while, hopefully once in a while. And there's been like shows where it just, you just know that the crowd are not digging it, but there's like a little corner that's going wild and you're like, oh, what do I,
they keep
should I play
alive.
like a big, like, you know, I'm partial to a big vocal here and there, but it's true that you should just keep it 80% you, and then, you know, like have those little fillers here and there for the miserable gang. But
yeah, consistency is everything, I think.
Yeah.
It's just like sending out the right signals.
Yeah.
You know, the people that are there for you will come back.
Yeah.
You know?
And just self-confidence, I guess.
As an artist, I feel like you've spent your whole career building trust with your fans, to trust that whatever you play, you're gonna do something that's either gonna enlighten them or make them happy or introduce them to something new. And if you show up and just do something that's like, oh shit, they're popping bottles here, I should play some like pop. Like, your fans are gonna be like, I don't trust them
some
anymore.
Lady Gaga, like bootlegs.
The trust is important.
Yeah, authenticity. And I've always associated with you with like whatever you try your hand at, it's like, it's legit, you know. It's like whether it's
good. I'm glad
grime or drum and bass. It's like the difficult or garage, the difficult scenes, you know. It's like you really have to, like, you know, prove your soul, you know.
Before you walked in, me and Sinden were talking. We were listening to some of your music, just getting in the mood. And we were just like kind of commenting on like all the different styles that you do. You still have it's still like a Flava D.
You got that Flava D little thing in there.
Which to me is the hardest thing for an artist to do. Like, a lot of newer producers will send me tracks and it sounds like a Flava D track, or it sounds like a Lorenzo track, or it sounds like a Phlegmatic Dogs track. And that's cool. And it's great. But like, the hardest thing.
Who are you?
The hardest thing is to put yourself into the music. And we, like I just said, like we're listening to your music and we're like, oh yeah.
I'm glad you said that, actually. That's really important to me. Because it's interesting. And what you said about, obviously, Lorenzo, to me, Lorenzo is the bass god, because like he's inspired me. And I think a lot of people unsubconsciously realize like there's a bit of Lorenzo in so many beats, and it's been like that way for years. So big shout out to Lorenzo.
Big shout.
Big
Brit
Lorenzo.
gang.
Big I really like the More Love series that you did. Like, I feel like that was a really nice like showcase of like a really different side.
Yeah, do you know what? That EP got a lot of love, way more than I ever thought it would get. And I think because that project for me was very personal, it wasn't made with the intent of this has got a bang in the club. or it was just like, it was very expressive and almost made for myself. Like, this is just me having fun making music. I love garage, and like, I think if I remember correctly, it was one of those times in my life, that was back in I think 2013 or 14. Yeah, it was, I had some like, you know, personal stuff going on in life. So there's quite a lot of emotional tracks on there. And I'm very, I produce based on what mood I'm in. Probably explains why I have so many different material. But yeah, that EP has like a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, I've always dug like melodic garage tracks and stuff that's not always tailored for like dance floors, you know. I feel like that has a big place. Like,
thank you.
For me, like, it doesn't always have to bang.
Yeah, not.
But you have that side too, you know.
Belter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool. That melodic thread has always like been woven throughout your stuff.
Yeah, I think what makes me somehow, like AC was saying, you can tell it's like a Flava D track. I think it's because of my melodic side.
We literally said that.
Right.
We literally said that to each other. Even the bangers are like, there's like a melodic.
There's like a little section in there, and you're like, oh, okay, this might be a Flava D track or something. Yeah.
We nailed it.
That's what it is. I learned that this year because I think when I made the D&B, it's like the same little elements. I'm like, that's what it is. I'm melodic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know myself.
Self-acceptance.
That's pretty epic because most people, you know, outside of, if you even just looking at production, most producers don't find who they are. So that's a special thing.
Yeah,
man.
Interesting. I never really thought of it like that.
Don't even talk. Not even talking about
now
life in general. Most people don't find out who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, do you know who you are, AC?
I do.
Who?
I'm AC fucking Slater.
Nice. Love it.
No, but you know, it's like finding your identity musically is really difficult.
Yeah,
that for me, like, that's an important theme in a career. To have a good career, you have to have an identity.
Yeah,
musically.
of course, because people after a while, I think they will switch off if you don't have something that. Because if you haven't got something special, there's always someone else ready to like take your place.
If you're always like, what's cool now? Let me jump on this. Then you're always running on a treadmill. But if it's like you can establish yourself as like an original, special artist that is pretty unique, people will wait, you know what I mean, for that next thing. Because you're kind of leading the pack. You know, like you mentioned Lorenzo, it's like, what's the next thing he's gonna do? And then kind of how Switch was back in like mid 2000s, where it was like, I know like personally, that's when I was like kind of starting my career, and like everything he put out, it was so weird and different, and you'd be like, what the fuck
I know,
this?
But it
and
was
then, like,
so clean as well, like,
and just unconventional sounds and level and mixing, and then you'd be like, that's so crazy. And then 3 months later, everyone would be copying it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it was suddenly normal.
I remember like hardcore. I think the first track I ever heard from Chris, it was called Dappy. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I think it was like him and Hannah Once, but that was, I think, when I fell in love with like house and bass. Even then, it wasn't like known as house and bass. It was like Jack in House or something.
Yeah, Jack.
I think, but I was like, what is this? This is like insane. It was like, for me, it was like grime on house. Because you had that bass element.
I remember I was with Trouble and Bass crew. We did Trouble and Bass in South by Southwest in Austin. And we had booked DJ House. And he was playing.
He was playing all that stuff.
Yeah, it was like 2012 or 13. And he played Big by DJ Q.
Oh,
that was so good.
Big.
And I was like,
I forgot about that.
Yo, what is this? And he was like, yo, in the UK right now, everyone's doing bassline, but it's at like 128. It's like the new thing. And I just fucking went nuts. Like, I was like, that's my favorite.
Oh my God.
Yo, this is amazing. It's bassline's back.
Yeah.
And that was like the house and bass, the jack in.
It's like the modern
like an extension
wave of
it.
It
kind of ties up everybody's favorite
exactly
like, genres of music, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because, I mean, playing grime music out, like, is not always the most palatable for like an audience that isn't expecting it. But like,
Very
if you
niche,
can like, you know, make it a little bit houseier, then.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you still make grime beats? Are you still like doing?
Not really. No, I used to get like a lot of like tweets or, you know, there's this like one particular thing on YouTube. It's me and DEE, and it's called the Berlin Freestyle. It was like 2015, and I made the beat. We had a show. It was like me, Elijah Skilliam, DEE, sorry, and we did like, Elijah was like, just make a beat on the spot, and we're gonna get DEE to freestyle on camera, just in the basement of wherever we were. That went off, and I still get messages to this day like, you're going to release it. Because it was just like a little YouTube upload of the visual, I don't know. It's just like, there's so much other things to be done though. It's like finding the time for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of also like what we've been touching on. It's like, if that's what you're feeling, then it's time to do it. But if it feels like something you have to make time for, then maybe.
Exactly. I mean, it's not my priority. It's more like, I had a lot of fun making grime. It didn't necessarily like pay the bills, but it is what it is. And I don't know. I think like the grime scene in England, I'm not sure if you follow it too much, but it's quite different now. Yeah. And obviously back then it was just popping. I was feeling more inspired than I do these days. So
what are you looking into, like music outside of like what you're making? What I listen to, like rap and grime? Are you still like checking it and enjoying it?
Not as much. I'm not gonna lie. Just I think because grime in general, it's, you know, when Skepta and Stormzy got big, I think they're kind of like the two people are watching.
Right.
And the underground scene is just not as alive as it once was. And back in the day, you had things like Channel U. Do you remember that?
Shit, yeah.
Like if you're from England and you're into that scene, that's a legendary TV channel that had all the grime music videos, and like you just don't have those little elements you had back in the day. So yeah, it's weird at the moment.
It's also mixed with like a lot of rap and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
trap obviously came through. And
the drill and the rap thing is like so taking off.
Like the drill is huge.
Especially, well, from over here anyway, from what I see. Like
it's just like so saturated. Like if you watch like a Grime Daily or something, it's like every day it's like
it's just
drill.
Yeah.
And then occasionally like a grime thing.
Yeah. But, still got like P Money and certain heads still making grime, but it's all drilled out.
It's hard to weed through everything and see what the real scene is from over here. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. I mean, what you see on Grime Daily is pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's drill.
Yeah, it's drill. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not in a rush to make the grime, but I definitely will dabble. You know what it is? I think once I've got some big projects out the way and I can just be like, make music freely without a deadline, a schedule, or I might just like dabble in some.
Yeah.
Send them to Wiley.
That must be quite liberating when you feel like you've got all the work off your plate and you can just really concentrate on just making music for, like you say, like the personal project, like the you know,
like a More Love 3
like
or
a More
something.
Love thing. Yeah. Is there any plans to do anything like that?
I would definitely wouldn't rule it out. It's because the way I produce, I could make it tomorrow, who knows? But I mean, I'm working on a big project right now. I can say it is drum and bass orientated.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really announce too much, but there's like a lot of music coming, collabs as well.
Dope.
And I've actually got some night bass stuff coming up.
Oh yeah.
Couple
really
remixes.
Cool stuff. Yeah, really cool stuff. What about our collab?
What about the Rubik's Cube competition?
Oh yeah.
Did you bring yours?
I did.
Should we do a little head to head?
You know what? I've been playing so much Rubik Cube with that it's not like turning as fluent. You know, when you buy a new cube, it's all smooth.
Are you getting excuses out?
You got
already.
You got cube burn.
This is what the Rubik Cube pros talk about.
Oh really? So
it's like how it turns and has it been? I'm going to shut up.
Did Jamie mentor you?
No, YouTube did.
You know, little background. So we were on Friendship, and she had her cube out, and she was going.
This
nuts.
is during your set, wasn't it?
Yeah. She kind of had it out a lot, and my wife Susie was like asking her about it, and Susie got really into it. So Susie ordered a cube. And it
was Susie that ordered it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I was like, let me see that. And then just like suddenly I don't know, I got hooked.
It is so addictive.
So now me and Flava literally like text every day,
Like
talking
every other
shit,
day he would
sending each other
screenshot me
times.
like a timestamp of how long he's completed it. But I'm like,
I don't know if we should do it now. I don't know. If you're ready.
Maybe after the podcast we can take a little bit or something.
During the podcast. There's no video.
I think you should.
Maybe we can end on it.
Yeah, well, we could end.
Yeah.
I think we should save it and do like a, I don't know.
Do you know what
like
the rule is though? I have to mash up your cube. You have to do mine.
Okay.
So no cheating.
Okay.
Or I could mash up both.
Or
your
okay,
cubes so they're
Sinden will mash
neutral.
them up.
Yeah. It would be fun at the end if we do it and then Sinden can kind of commentate.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. It's got to be done.
As a non-cuber.
Do you remember Rubik's Snake?
No.
It came out after Cube. It was like Rubik's Snake.
Rubik's Snake.
Snake?
Yeah.
Same thing where you're like...
No, it's not in the cube form. It's like the same company, but
form.
like...
No way.
I swear down. Like,
you know, I'm going to be Amazoning that later.
Yeah, I know.
I hope I'm not like...
Oh,
fucking,
I see it.
Yeah,
you can like
yeah.
build shapes.
Oh, okay. Got it. Jeez, that's like elite level.
Let me see.
That's like for kids. Not
So,
like adult shit
it's
like
not.
us.
Yeah, that's like super geek.
Oh, you build your own like shapes.
So do you
It's not
know
really-
all your algorithms off by heart now?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're ready to compete.
Yeah, because I think you had it before me, and then I was like, I don't know. I've been training a lot.
Yeah,
For the
I
Flava
know.
D versus AC, D versus AC.
There's got to be a forfeit of some sort.
Sound
Whoever
clash.
loses.
Yeah, we have to come up. I don't think we should do it now. You know, we should come up with like a really high stakes
Yeah.
result, prize or punishment. I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
I think you should battle it out in front of a crowd instead of
Oh,
DJing.
pressure.
I think you should do that.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm some ideas.
Yeah. We'll do something.
I'm getting some confidence with it.
I thought you were going to say I was getting a bit nervous.
I think that's what he was trying to say.
Not even close to nervous. You know what I did? This is the last Rubik's Cube thing I'm going to talk about because we're dragging on. But I couldn't solve it. It kept like fucking up. Like one thing was out of order, and I realized the corners can turn. When you're turning it really fast, the corner
it
can
kinda
flip
gets
upside
like-
down. So
like
it's always
tangled almost.
Yeah, the yellow will always be in the wrong
Yeah.
place. So, all right, I'm changing
Anyway,
the
big
subject
up the
before
Rubik
people
gang.
turn this
Anyone
off.
listening?
I want to change the subject to 13 flavors.
Oh,
yeah,
XOYA.
Yeah. Break that down, like how that happened, and for people that don't know about 13 flavors.
13 flavors. So I had an XOY residency. What year was that? That was
That's a London club.
It was like
for
last
those
year,
that don't
2 years
know.
ago.
2 years ago. So 2018. God, I can't get over how quick time goes. So 13 weeks of residency at this club in London, for anyone that doesn't know. Yeah, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. So it was called 13 Flavors because I curated the whole lineup. So pretty much every single person. It was very different as well. I think it was their first residency with such a varied, like you had grime, had a bit of drill on there. You had like bass line, house, drum and bass, some vocal people like Lady Leisha, you know, like real people there to perform. Had like AJ Tracy.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of people who had then that I probably couldn't now, you know, because some people have just got huge
blown.
now.
Right.
Yeah, and
that was every week for the summer.
yeah, so every Friday, 13 weeks in a row. And that was an incredible experience. Very educational as well, because when you DJ in the same club, every week you're seeing different audiences, different artists. And like, I think it really helped mold me into a better DJ for many reasons, because I had to switch up my sound, because I couldn't just be playing the same shit every Friday.
For 13 weeks.
Yeah. See, like I did my first extended set, like an all-night set. I think it was 5 hours. Did my first D&B 60-minute set. I did my first so AJ Tracy, who was one of the headliners one night. So I DJ'd for him, and even that was really cool. Because like it was something, you know, making eye contact with someone who's performing.
Yeah.
Them letting you know when they're ready for the next one, or, you know, dipping out the volume on certain bars. Like,
yeah.
So
he
many
rides
new
garage
things.
so good, AJ.
He can ride D&B. Like he's an incredible spitter. Yeah, there's like a crazy video where they do like a drill, R&B, hip hop, garage, drum and bass all in one without telling them when they're going to switch it, and he just rides it. So
is that the one extra thing that they do?
I think
the
it
one
is.
where they speed up the tempo.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's sick.
That's dope.
What other MCs? Wiley came through.
Yeah,
right?
Wiley, he actually turned up. No, you know the old stigma. Yeah, he was there. I brought my mum that night as well.
Oh,
it was such a good night.
Oh,
Is she a big fan?
That's the thing.
Big Wiley fan.
I've never met your mom, but I
Oh
see
my
you
God,
bring her
you'd
around a
love her.
lot. You bring her all over the
I
place.
try, yeah, when I can. I
Mum's in the
took her to
dance.
Ibiza a few times. She had the time of her life. I had her in the booth, and she's like dancing next to MK and like
Oh, that's so cool.
loving her life.
I'm sure she loves it.
Yeah, she does. She would have been a raver back in the day for sure if she could have been.
But yeah, back to the 13 flavors, like that was on social media every week when I saw you posting about it. I was just like, God damn, I want to be there. Like, cause it was just
it was insane.
It looked so cool. And like, yo, big up. That was like,
Yeah,
that was so sick. That's like a really big accomplishment.
No handshakes, coronavirus.
Yeah, fist bump.
And you know, as well, like I got to have like my own theme and lighting and all that stuff. But the main thing that I asked for was like a little palm tree in the booth. And they made it happen, bless them. It was on a little palm tree. And yeah.
Is that because you missed LA?
Yeah, you need a little LA
You know what?
touch.
I do love palm trees. Love them. They make me so happy. Same way like Himalayan salt lamps. Like if I could have a big palm tree in my front room in England, I would. But obviously I can't. But can only dream.
Not in London.
You've got your caravan. You can.
Well, yeah, true.
Palm trees everywhere.
I
out
know.
here.
Now that I live here half time, I'm like, I'm good. I got my palm tree fix.
Yeah. Wait, so can we talk about your caravan?
Yes.
So
I call it Red Dead.
Red Dead.
Yeah, it's my red.
So
van.
she's telling me one day about how I really want to get this like caravan.
It's like a.
I guess we call it
thing.
here just a van. I guess
Yeah.
or camper.
Well, it
A camp-
is a
Yeah.
van. It's like a little off-grid van. Is what they call it.
So basically, she wants to like, I want to get this van and deck it out and have, you can basically live in it and just travel wherever. And you've done it. You've got
I
one.
actually bought. I think like a week later, I had this really impulsive urge to just like I was on like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and I don't know. I don't know how. I never aspired to have a van and like travel and make beats. This happened in like 2 weeks. Maybe I have a really impulsive personality. I don't know, but yeah, I got this van that kind of has like a little kitchen, like everything you need to kind of live, I guess.
So cool.
And
cool. I love
it turns out I think that's where my album will be produced in this.
I was
van.
gonna say when you were talking about like finding time and
Yeah.
whatever to produce, I have a plan for you, and
Okay,
that was
I'm
part.
ready.
You already have the plan, but my last album, I was just so busy with like basically starting Night Bass and building Night Bass. It's
Yeah.
like almost like a full-time job to kind of run and keep up with. There's so much.
I can't even imagine what your schedule is.
It's just like so much
Yeah.
musical output, merch output, events,
Yeah.
stages, whatever. And then on top of that, I've got to have like time to make music when I'm not
Exactly.
traveling and whatever. So sometimes it gets a bit hectic where I don't have time. So for my last album, High 8, I went out to Joshua Tree. I rented a spot alone.
Sick.
I took my speakers. I took some synths. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just went out for like a week alone.
Oh, I
turned
didn't
my
know
phone
that.
off. Yeah. I did like, I would say like 75% of the album
Really?
in that week. And then
Amazing.
my next single, I went back to Joshua Tree
Yeah.
and did the same thing for like 3 days. And there's like the difference between being in the city
Yeah.
where everyone is and people are
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
into town and hitting you up and it's your, the normal place you always are. Getting out of here and being out, especially out in like Joshua Tree in the desert.
Oh, so I love all that desert because it's so different from England and what I know there. So
it's different than, I'm from the East Coast. There's no desert. It's just so different. And there's no one around. There's nothing to do. So it's just kind of like, you're just there working.
You have like no choice but to be creative.
The Wi-Fi sucks, so you can't like distract yourself with whatever. I turn the phone off. So if you took your van out there with some speakers,
you need to like send me the spot.
Yeah, there's some spots, man. So it changes your whole mind. Like you're so much more relaxed. I feel like so much more open to write.
Yeah.
And so you should do it.
I know. I really, really want to. I mean, because last year was crazy for me. And then in England, there's this place called Devon Analog Studios. And it's like, do you know about that?
I've heard about it, yeah.
It's
tell us more.
Yeah, it's quite a well-known place. And it's like this studio built in the middle of a farm, like in the middle of nowhere. And so I went in November for like 4 or 5 days, and it's got like a bedroom built in and a shower. Like you don't need anything. You can just wake up, studio right there outside your door. It's amazing. And that was the first time I'd experienced like a place where it's just for me to create.
It's like
nothing
freedom.
Else. And that week I wrapped up Mesmerize, which was a single that came out recently. And I was just like, wow, because for like the last few years I've made 80% of my material on public transport, whether it's like a plane or a train.
Really?
Literally, all my biggest tunes were made on the go. And so being like stationary and just having that kind of setup, I was like, this is different and kind of uncomfortable at first because I'd managed to like, I don't know, mold myself into making music on the go. So I fully agree with you on that. And
is that just because you're just finding like you really have like limited time and you're just like finding like the hours? I travel a lot, so I just kind of had no choice but to make music on the go. It's kind of been like that for a while. I didn't really realize as much. When you slow down, you're like, wow, I needed to slow down a bit. Because, like for me, for anyone, music is like the petrol to your career in a way. Definitely.
So,
Yeah, there's a balance of like when you're really busy touring and playing shows, you're like, I'm busy. This is great. I'm working. Yeah. And then if you stop making music, there's like a delay. So it's like you're touring, everything's great. But then if you don't make the music, then more time goes by without any stuff out there like working for you. So then you make the music, then you got to wait for the music to come out. Then you got to wait for people to digest it. Then the demand comes back. So it's kind of like when you're on the road, you have to keep working.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, I don't know, like you said, you worked 80% of your music on transport. I don't know about you, Sinden, but like I used to work a lot while traveling, and then over time it became really difficult for me to the point where like when I'm really touring, I'll stop writing, and then like
was that like exhaustion or just
I think it was
not being inspired as much?
I think it's just being tired and trying to catch sleep whenever you can. I used to just like stay up and just write, and get ideas down, but then I would just, I don't know, as I got older, it was kind of harder. And then
it's the same. Yeah. It literally is the same. Like now I'm so focused on getting my 8 hours sleep. Like I seem to not function well without my 8 hours.
Yeah.
But 30 gang and all that.
But I just like, the thing with me is like, if I don't write for a while, there's this weird mental block where I'm like, then I'm like, nervous to make music because I'm like, for me it takes a while to get back into that mindset. Because a touring mindset's different than like a creative mindset for me. So I'm like,
completely.
I literally will make excuses to myself like, oh, I can't start working on a track. I have to like do this stupid errand or you know what I mean, like some shit like that. So it's like
it gets like that.
It's like a mental wrestling with yourself with that shit. So
that's really fascinating. I've never heard anyone say that, but I completely relate at times. Like, I think, yeah, you have them breaks, but it's weird because you have to have that balance of like Danielle and Flava D. And, you know, the more you tour, like it does have an effect on your health. So, yeah, it's like the constant battle of a musician.
Is this mobile setup you have also like equipped to make beats?
No, it's not really
more like a live space.
It's more like a live space. Yeah, because I mean, I'm pretty minimal with what I make my music with. I have my laptop and monitors, a little keyboard, and I mean, I don't even have monitors here in LA because
just headphones,
yeah, and then I do like the car test, the phone test, and then obviously in the club, and yeah, it's kind of a weird way how I work, but somehow I make it to the finish line just about. Yeah, we all have our own little quirks as producers, and
no, for sure.
It's not what you use; it's how you use it.
Yeah, exactly. Amen to that.
Yeah, how should we wrap this up?
Thank you, everyone that's been listening. If you made it this far as well, you're a
trooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flava is an inspiration to a lot of people. I think I see you as this like really unique artist. You kind of do your own thing and you have your own lane, and it's really cool for people to kind of hear.
And you
from your
traverse
mouth.
them styles.
Yeah.
Like you got, you know, you just making music the way on your own terms, you know.
Yeah. I'm just trying to have
cool.
fun and not be, you know, pushed into no box. So I think a lot of people, like I've had producers show me ideas. Are like, oh, I don't know if I should put it out there. Like bassline people with like D&B, for example, and I'm like, you should just do it because that's you, and don't be afraid to just change it up because. Like you're gonna age in life, your tastes are gonna change. Like you mature. Same way, my taste. I might have played something years ago that I wouldn't really play today. It's just me. I'm just aging.
Yeah, I mean,
aging musically.
There's some things that are like staples musically, but then there's like some things that are just like you just kind of grow out of, or you just move differently.
Exactly. Yeah, I think change is healthy.
Like if you're a fan of like a band. You love their first album, then the second album comes out and it's an evolution of their sound, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't like it. But then after you listen to it a few times, you're like, this is fucking sick. And then the third album comes out and it's the same process. With DJs, we kind of expect them to always do the same thing with a slower evolution. But this is a breakthrough I had today. Or yesterday. So like me and Susie were in the car listening to like the new Disclosure release, and it's like
I haven't heard
funk,
that yet.
It's like disco funk, and it's dope, but it's so different.
Yeah.
And she was like, I was like, yo, this is so different. I can't believe they like went here, and that's the kind of closed-minded DJ point of view where it's like they don't sound like Disclosure, and she was like, I think it's great that they're like. Going this direction that's like their new sound.
Yeah.
And then I started to think about it like a band where it's like, you know, each album's a different phase or whatever. And I'm like, that's fucking cool that they did that because they're a huge name.
To, like,
exactly.
Do that.
It takes a lot of
especially
guts.
if someone of their like high profile.
Yeah.
But they've had that huge R&B hit as well. You know, Can We Just Stop? That song. Like I didn't realize that was Disclosure until like when I Shazammed it. I was like, no way. And I was like, good for you. And they remixed like a Mac Miller track that recently was out. You just wouldn't know it was them, but then you kind of do hear like their little synth build up. So they still have their little element in there.
Much like the Flava D melody. Yes.
That was a nice point to end on there.
Yes, but thank you so much, Flava D.
Thank you
so much.
Us.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll join you in your van sometime and make some beats.
Definitely.
Definitely. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye.
All right, that was episode 5 of Night Bass Energy with Flava D. Thank you everyone for listening. As always, I'm AC Slater alongside my brother Sinden each and every time. Make sure you check out nightbass.info for all those past episodes and all things Night Bass. Until next time, keep up that good Night Bass energy.